In this video, what I want to do is I want to cover licensing for DeltaV through what's called the Sentinel license key. It's basically like this small kind of a dongle. I'll just show a picture of it here. So basically you can see that there's these keys that come with DeltaV. And when you go into DeltaV, you'll be able to see this is version 14 here at the moment. You'll basically be able to see that there's a license that gets loaded to the machine, and essentially with that license then DeltaV can basically run. You can't actually go and do an actual like basically a download. You can't actually do that when that kind of occurs, right? So essentially what I'm doing at the moment is I'm setting up. I have to use Hyper-V with a DeltaV version 15 for basically the simulation version, and it can't be used with basically VMware Workstation or say VirtualBox. And Hyper-V is desperate around these license keys. Any kind of USB pass-through USB is kind of a nightmare. So essentially, I have to kind of use this workaround software by where I have a machine that has the license key in it, and I have to then pass it from the physical port on the host machine and basically then kind of send it through, right? So essentially, anyway, if I go to say the license here, and if I go show system ID here, I'll see that the system ID has popped up, and basically you can see it, right? And then I have VMware here, and this is basically I have this VM running, and if I open up the VM, if I go, I'll see that there's no license there. I go show system ID, and there's no actual system ID, right? So essentially, this has been installed. The key is in it, but it can't actually be seen. And yeah, that's basically it. So the way to get around that, first of all, is on the host machine. I have this USB kind of a server as such that can pass a USB port over a network, right? And essentially there's a server, and then what we have then running here, we also have a client. So this guy here, virtual here client, he's going to go off then, and he's going to basically take a look for servers that are running on the actual host machine. Here I'm going to hit start, and then I can see that he's running, and the client then is basically going to pop up. He's going to gain he's going to basically be able to kind of see what's there in just a moment. I'll just try and run him again and see what pops up. So he is running now. Perfect. Yep. And here I can see this Sentinel key. That's perfect, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close down the DeltaV Explorer, and I'm going to open him again, and let's see whether he can actually see the key or not. So I'm just going to go into setup, licenses, show system ID. Oh, he hasn't popped up yet. So hopefully basically he will. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off anyway, and I'm going to just discuss the whole idea of the Sentinel key effectively when it gets plugged in. Okay, so in terms of the actual the Sentinel key, here we'll see he actually just popped up. I was supposed to get to this in a moment. Basically, the Sentinel key will pop up, and it's kind of something that's auto detected. If I go off and if I take a look, say for example at say this PC, it won't show up as an actual drive. Again, it's this particular key that I'm talking about here. When you plug it into the machine, it just basically won't show up as that NTFS, you know what I mean, or some kind of a storage system at all. It shows up as something called a HASP device that's there. And basically it's essential that the machine can basically see it. So now if I go back to DeltaV here, and if I go off to show system ID, perfect. You can see he's actually working, right? So I'm kind of, we're flying in that regard, right? So now what I'll do very quickly is I'll just kind of show, right? So for anyone who's familiar, there's basically a kind of a system called Guardian, and here I can see there's two different versions that are had for DeltaV that are licensed, that have opened at the moment, and this is kind of where you get the new modern license. And effectively, the license from the Guardian system, it works. It works basically with the key that you actually have, right? In the past, you used to be able to get, here it is here, you used to actually get the license key given to you that would work essentially, that you can load onto the machine, and then it would work with the dongle. But now you have to basically go off to the Guardian system, and that's basically that's kind of how it works this time around. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to effectively show how is it that you can go off then and take a look basically over the network. So essentially, with regards to the configuration here, we go access to remote license managers. So essentially, through the actual the Sentinel the Sentinel application, which if I go off and if I take a look at services, so I'll go here and I'll go all the way down here, and where has he gone again? 2 seconds there. There we go. This is the actual guy that we're looking for. This service here must be running. So this is the Sentinel guy. So effectively, we go off and we're able to kind of take a look. And here, basically, he's going off to take a look at the remote machine. Here you can see DeltaV. So this is the virtual machine running on APPC 50. Here it's pointing at the actual the service that's running on the actual machine. So he can reach out, and that means that he appears then within the VM. It's effectively going over an IP address, passing your USB port over an IP address. So essentially, you have to kind of set that up. The software that I used, again, the name of it was Virtual here. And essentially, this is an example then of in real time, where basically I started the service and then I was actually able to see it. So essentially, it means that with Hyper-V, you can use the standalone system, you can use the dongle. It's just that there's basically there's a bit to it in terms of engaging with the actual workaround. Thank you very much.